So let me ask you said your lowest weight had gotten down to 147 and then so 148. But the 147, you said that you were like that for one day. Do you weigh yourself every day?
If I'm here at home with my scale, I like to weigh every day.
Okay.
Because I like data and I like to see, and although I had to get over that part where, you get a little like discouraged because you're like, oh
Mhm.
man, the scale went up. But for me, it was always like this 3 pound variance all the time. Every week it was like 3 pounds up or down. If it was right before injection day, the weight was up. If it was 2 days after injection day, that's whenever, like 2 days after my injection, that's whenever I'd have the flood of like the releasing of all the fluid. And I would weigh the least. Um, so I'm actually glad now that I stuck it out and I weighed every day because I saw that pattern repeat itself and I could see how it wiggled all the way down so that whenever I do go up 2 or 3 pounds, I don't freak, like it doesn't scare me so much now because I'm like, okay, well, give me a day or two and I'll be back down. The lowest actually that I ever got was when I was going into maintenance last December 2024. I was still on 10. No, I was on 10 milligrams. I lost going into maintenance. I lost 10 pounds a month, and I wasn't even trying to. And I was like, oh my gosh! And then the next month, I lost another 10 pounds. Like I had gotten down to 143, and I looked very gaunt. Yeah, 143. I looked really, really thin. You know, even more than what I look right now because I know I can see my chest bones and all the clavicles and all that kind of stuff. But if I could target, because my legs were the last to kind of go down and I would always be frustrated with my legs. I did find out through the process that I have lymphedema and lipedema. So I deal with that swelling and insufficient vein insufficiency. So I'm also working on doing things to treat that, like vibration plate. Sometimes I wear stockings, which I hate. So I don't wear them like I'm supposed to, the compression stockings. But the vibration plate helps a lot. Massaging with castor oil, that helps a lot. And
Oh, wait, so when did you find out you had that condition?
it's funny. I actually knew that I had the vein problem like over 10 years ago. And I had one vein, like they don't remove it, they use radio frequency to kill it. And it was because I had those big varicose veins, those lumpy ones. So
Okay.
and I had a big lumpy one, had one removed, and then I went back to the doctor because I was when I went. Okay, so I didn't know I still had the problem. Really, I knew I had varicose veins, and I was like, my mom always had those and stuff. It was when I went back and I'm like, okay, I'm going to titrate down. So I went from 10 to 7.5, and then after 2 months, I was still losing weight, and I said, I need to go down to 5. So I went down to 5, and that's whenever the swelling started happening, the cravings
Um,
started coming back, the food cravings, but I stuck it out. I stayed at 5 in 2025 from January all the way to October. I think we switched over. My PA left the office, but she came back and she agreed to let me go back to 7.5. So we're going to try 7.5. Um, right before my skin removal, I had another vein deadened, I guess, like a vein ablation. That's what they call it, vein ablation. Um, and that doctor said, you have lymphedema more than you have lymphedema. And she said, and the reason I know is right at your ankles, your feet don't swell and you have a cuff, like it goes in at the ankles. And I have kinkles too. Um, and so I had a study done at Cedar Sinai of how slow or how long it takes for fluid to go through your veins, and it was really slow. So even the reconstructive doctor said you have lipedema. So the treatment is those things like vibration, massage, losing weight, like what I've already done. But it's the fat nodules that hurt. It's the painful fat. So
mhm.
I think so far what I'm finding out is there's um, what is it called? Lipo, that they can lipo areas of your legs to help out. But so far, the insurance doesn't cover that. So I'm still kind of researching that area. And in the meantime, the vibration plate is doing wonders.
Okay,
Um,
good.
yeah. And then my daughter bought me, I asked her for my Christmas present. Costco had the leg compression legs. They look like a boot. And it's just like when you're at the hospital and you have compression boots and you it pumps them. And so she bought that for me and my grandson because of some leg issues that he's had from the chemo. But that's those help. But I have to say, I
I
think
wonder if and I don't know, you may know this, but I feel like some people, several people that I have spoken to who've had the gastric bypass surgery develop one of these conditions with the lymphedema or what's the difference?
lymphedema is your veins and how slow or fast they drain.
Okay.
Vein insufficiency, which is also genetic and caused by chronic obesity. And then lipedema, I don't know if they consider, so there's stages of lipedema. Whenever one part of your body is abnormally bigger than the other, even if you've exercised and lost weight. So like if you have thicker legs, like I've always been bigger on the bottom, that's a sign of lipedema. And then, and your feet don't swell. Sorry, can catch me on. Your feet don't swell, but it swells all the way to your leg. Yeah, and it can even happen in your arms too. You can have lymphedema in your arms. And if you feel the skin, you can feel almost like little nodules, almost like rice or thick rice or beans. Yeah. And if you were to run your hand across your legs or the tender spot and it hurts and it feels tender, that's a sign of the painful fat nodules, which is lipedema. And I feel like lipedema isn't getting it's like nobody really talks about it too much until recently, and you have different stages. There's pictures that you can look up and it shows you what it looks like, what stages. I think I'm a stage 3. And
I'm gonna look that up. So you said it's lipedema. I've heard of the lipedema.
Lipedema. So I'm still in the search. My husband says, can you find a doctor that's closer to home? Because he doesn't like that Los Angeles traffic. Because you can find everything. Yeah, so, we get better doctors.
Disorder, and it affects how distributed in the body, most commonly only in women. And so it's all those places we don't, the hips, the thighs, the butt, the buttocks, the butte. I say butte. The lower legs, but not the feet. So you did it, you know your stuff. Sometimes in the arms. Very good. Okay, wow. So there's some signs, like you said, symmetrical fat on both your arms and your legs, pain or the tenderness when you touch it, easily bruised, or do you bruise easily?
Yeah.
Aching, feeling tired, swelling that gets worse during the day. Your feet usually look normal. Okay, very good. Geez, Louise. And how is it caused? How is it different from obesity or lymphedema? So it's general weight gain over the body, all over your body. And then lipedema, which you have, is the abnormal fat storage, but lymphedema is the fluid buildup in your lymphatic system. And it also includes the swollen feet.
Yeah. Wow. I know. And you see some people who have those, like they'll have a big pocket of something. And so they have like a really severe lymphedema. But yeah, and so my area, and I always know whenever I'm retaining water, is the inner knee. So the inner knee has like, I feel like I've got like this chunk right in the inside where the knee bends. And if I feel it and I can feel that it's getting hard, I know, oh man, I'm like retaining water. And that's whenever I got to get on the vibration plate. I have one like the Life Pro 360 vibration plate.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Yes. It itches, like you feel it itchy when you're using it, but it releases water. And if you're constipated, it helps that too.
So you haven't had the liposuction because you said your insurance doesn't cover that. It's because it's not cosmetic. It can reduce the pain and fat buildup. But you're doing everything. The compression garments is a kind of a care for it. It says a manual lymphatic drainage, but
yes. So that's a massage. So you could like if I do, I need to find. So we're lacking in lymphatic massage therapists in our area. The one that I was on a 4-month wait list for quit her job. So I've just been doing self massage, and I just take the oil. I think it's like I do a castor oil, and I get one that's got arnica in it, I think too, or some other combination. But castor oil is amazing. And you like just really like push down on your legs and kind of like you're pushing down the fluid. And if I do
Really?
that, yeah, and then I go down to my calves and I just like really just try to compress it. And that seems to do the trick too. Yeah, I do that. And so that's a self massage. I think if I were to go pay for it, it's like $150 for a lymphatic massage. So that's what I'm on the hunt. I haven't spent so much time trying to find another person, but I am on the hunt to see what can I get covered by insurance and who's out there.
Who's out there? Well, one of the things is it says anti-inflammatory nutrition. So eating some of the right things, which you're probably doing, because you're eating healthy.
Oh yeah,
Now,
no,
it does say strength training though, and I know, you know, I can see why they would make sense, right? Because if you're strength training, you're gaining muscle, and hopefully you're losing fat. But
yeah.
when I just looked it up, it says when you strength train, your muscles contract and relax, which is helpful. This squeezes your lymphatic vessels. It helps them move the fluid out of the swollen or heavy areas. So strength training is something that can help. And it says when you strength train, you can reduce the heaviness you're feeling, the aching, the pressure, and the end of the day swelling. It says many people with lipedema notice their legs feel lighter on the days they lift weights. So
Yes.
do you notice that?
Yeah. Okay. This week I've
Okay.
been doing so good with my lunges, squats, and walking, and vibration plate. I've been doing that after the workout. And I felt like yesterday I was walking around campus. We had a fog delay. I got to work out in the morning. I felt so strong. I can feel now my quads like feel so buff and like even though they're not looking buff, they're like they feel it, and I can feel the muscle now. Like I can feel that it's actually there and strong, and I can stand on one leg and balance. I was whipping around the campus, like I worked sometimes at night at a college campus, and I was walking around there like nobody's business, no out of like no pain at all, nothing to be out of breath, and I just felt so good. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm walking with no effort. Like it is so easy right now to walk. It wasn't like I didn't even have to use, but I felt like my muscles were like really pushing me. So I was just like, okay, this stuff is working. Like the all the strength training is really making a difference, and my legs can swell. And I think because I did that this week, that's why all of a sudden I got down to 147 today. I was like, what the heck, 147? I haven't been there since that temporary 143, when I was coming off going into maintenance. But yeah, I mean, 148 has been my lowest since post surgery, And even after surgery, the swelling, I had 1 week where, man, my legs swelled. I was so scared. But I did all the things, and I found out I ate some salty food, and my PA said it's because you've gone down in your salt that your body's not used to it, and so anytime you eat something that's really salty, you're gonna blow up, like you're gonna swell. So but post surgery you swell a lot anyway. So that was the highest I had gotten to 158 after surgery, 2 weeks after surgery, and that was the highest I'd been since losing weight. But it didn't last long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's important though, because I think if I hear a condition like that, I would think like, oh, okay, that's the last thing I want to do is exercise. But really, exercise, especially strength training, is going to help it. And I also just want to share this. It said it reduces pain sensitivity over time, which improves your circulation, strengthening the surrounding muscles, managing your body. And it says your body can become more resilient to the pressure that is felt. And this is what I immediately thought of, like it's building muscle underneath that fat. And it says it helps increase your muscle tone, improve your leg strength, improve your mobility, make daily life easier, like you just talked about, the stairs, walking, standing, all those things. And they say many women, after they do like a routine, like a consistent 6 to 8 weeks or however long, and continue on, they say a lot of women often say my legs look the same, but they feel stronger and they function a lot better. So if you could get past the looks of it all and focus on how you feel, which we kind of say with these GLP-1s, right? That's
Mhm.
a win. So I love that. It also says, we know it's going to improve that body composition, lowering your overall fat, increasing that muscle, reducing the inflammation. So anybody who has your condition, I think these are all great tips and things that they can do. And really they say you only need to do it 2 to 3 days a week. So I know you love to walk. So if you still do your walking and just add that 2 to 3 days of doing that strength training, that's going to really help you. And I saw you doing squats. So squats, the leg presses, glute bridges, which are my favorite. I don't like the bridges, but I do like working on the glutes. But I can't do the bridges. I used to do those in Pilates, and they would drive me insane. Step ups. I like the step ups. I like that. And then lift light and do the light deadlifts. So they say if you do light deadlifts, that's a full body, doing all those things, combining those here and there is a full body workout. Low impact, but controlled movements are key. So I think that's so cool. Geez, Louise.
Yeah,
Well, we've learned something together, and you taught me about this lipedema. I didn't know much about that. So goodness gracious, it's always something, isn't it?
yeah. And a lot of people, when I mention it, and I have a playlist on it now too, I've gotten a lot of comments that other people have it too. And maybe because, when you are chronically obese, it could trigger it. Or maybe that's one reason. I don't know. Could that be a reason why we ended up being close to 300 pounds? I don't know. I wonder. But yeah, a lot of people are definitely going through it. Yeah. Having
I'm gonna
some.
look. I'm gonna look into the connection between that and having the surgery. And it
Yeah.
could be a coincidence, but
Right.
yeah, a lot of people I know who've had the surgery have issues
Mhm.
down the road with that,
Yeah,
with
oh,
what
no,
else too.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't
So,
realize that. Okay.
all right, but
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's a causation. I'm just saying it's a coincidence. And we're not doctors, hashtag not a doctor. But I think that's kind of important to look at. So